Jack it up. Jack it up. Jack it up. Jack it up.
Good morning, everyone. It is 9:30. I'm going to recognize the board has a quorum. I believe the mayor is on his way. We've got a full agenda, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Deputy Chief Ortiz, I understand you're going to introduce Sergeant Rizzo this morning to lead us in a pledge of allegiance.
Sir. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Sergeant Joe Rizzo started his Kansas City, Missouri Police Department distinguished career in October of 1992 as a detention facility officer. He joined the Police Academy in 1995 and has served in key assignments including detention, Metro Patrol, SWAT, and most recently as an instructor and supervisor in the physical training and defensive tactics section. That makes nearly 33 years of dedicated service. Sergeant Rizzo, thank you for your commitment to making the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department a stronger department.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Chaplain Jones is here this morning. Yes, there you are. Good morning, sir.
As we stand, may we bow our heads in honor of our Heavenly Father. Gracious and divine God of wisdom, we ask you for your guidance upon the Police Board of Commissioners. Grant them clarity and discernment as they oversee the police department and set its policies. May the decision promote justice, safety, and respect within the community. Strengthen them with courage and integrity as they navigate the complex issues of our law enforcement. Bring them a spirit of collaboration so that they may work effectively together and with the community they serve. Inspire them to act with impartiality and compassion, upholding the rights of all citizens. In their difficult and important work, grant them resilience and hope. This we pray in your precious name. Amen.
Next on our agenda, I am pleased to welcome back former Commissioner Kramer to be recognized for her time on the board. And I think we have a resolution to that effect.
Whereas Don M. Kramer has faithfully served the Kansas City Police Department as a commissioner of the Kansas City Board of Police Commissioners from August 2021 through July 2025. And whereas Don M. Kramer is the Vice President of Kramer Capital Management, where she uses her leadership skills to empower women through life transitions and set them up for financial success. And whereas Don M. Kramer retired from the airline industry after a 28-year career to enter the financial services industry in 2007. And whereas Don M. Kramer completed a high-level leadership program through Clemmer that is known for training Fortune 500 circles. And whereas Don M. Kramer is actively involved in educating women, bringing an awareness to the importance of becoming financially independent and maintaining that through proper planning and investing strategies. And whereas Don M. Kramer founded the Women's Mastermind Program in early 2012 for women to reach their goals within the small business industry. And whereas Don M. Kramer is involved with the Clay County Domestic Violence Board, the Heartland Foundation, the Northland Shepherd Center, and the Atkins Johnson Farm and Museum. And whereas Don M. Kramer has been an outstanding member of the Board of Police Commissioners of Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, and has exemplified those qualities which are found in the finest law enforcement leaders throughout the country. And whereas Don M. Kramer's extraordinary leadership, vast knowledge, wise counsel, and dedicated service will be greatly missed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Police Commissioners of Kansas City, Missouri hereby expresses its sincere gratitude and genuine appreciation for Don M. Kramer's leadership, counsel, and tireless service to the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department and the City of Kansas City, Missouri, and its sorrow at her retirement as a member of the Board of Police Commissioners for Kansas City, Missouri in July 2025. Resolved this 23rd day of September 2025.
I just wanted to say a few words this morning. My husband says don't ever give me a mic without an agenda, so I'll try and be brief. Speaking of my husband, he's here today, and I would like to thank him for all his love and support in helping me get through challenging times with the department as well. So thank you, honey. I love you. When Governor Parson appointed me, the 3 reasons I wanted to serve was to bring back the respect this department and our men and women deserved, and to for putting their lives on the line for us every day. I wanted to get all groups together to listen and to bring back unity. I wanted to make Kansas City a safer place for all. The ways I worked towards these goals with a great board and great department was to be proactive in meeting with groups, listening, and trying to listen to everybody's perspective with coming up with solutions. Making my own communication transparent and sincere with you all. Building increasing confidence in our public perception of our police department. Now that I look back at the 3 aspects I'm most proud of we accomplished today during my time on the board, was I got to work with 3 amazing chiefs and got to be in the part of hiring an interim chief who was such a great chief, Chief Maben at the time, our interim chief, that the community wanted us to keep him, but that wasn't part of the agreement. He couldn't be interim and then chief, so we were sorry about that, but that just shows you what quality we have here. And then I got to be part of hiring the first female chief of this department, who is truly what we needed at that time. And she cares and wears her heart on her sleeve. She is a great listener, very authentic, so people feel heard, and she puts timelessly behind the scenes hours and hours to make this place a better place for all, on resources that she finds, putting people together, and to just make it more effective and better for everybody. She has just gone above and beyond, and I am truly blessed to have worked with her. So thank you. You're in good hands. Then my other thing that I'm really proud of is we worked really hard on recruiting and getting wages up, because there hadn't been any big wage increases in a long time, and to be effective with getting those recruits. So we went from 2 in recruit class to over 40. So you guys did a fabulous job, and thank you for that, and keep up the good work. Then my big thing was, as the mayor knows, I would tell him I'm going to be your squeaky wheel on that city jail. It's unusual for a city our size not to have a jail. And we have been long overdue for that. We worked hard and timelessly with the mayor, city council, to get surveys done, to get approvals, and to go forward with finding the land, buying the property, and now we're in the bid process for this jail. So I will hold you accountable for making that happen, and I'll be watching because I know, we need to hold those criminals accountable so that maybe we can help them have a better life by changing their path early. But most of all, I've appreciated the opportunity to serve with such fine people. I'm truly going to miss all of you. I will continue to serve in ways I can. Some of you on the board have come to me and thanked me for helping you get your bearings and supporting you. It was truly an honor. I'm so blessed to have worked with all of you. Now you all have the same opportunity. When the new members join the board, you can pay it forward by mentoring them with serving your whole community. I am honored and blessed to have served on the best board ever. I love you all, and I thank you for what you do for us every day. I truly will miss all of you. Keep up the great work. I love you, and stay safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It is now this board's pleasure and an honor to introduce our new Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. Thank you and good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Mayor, Chief, members of the board. Thank you for having me this morning. It's early in my tenure. I think this is day 15. And it wasn't something, as the phrase has become, it wasn't on my bingo card for September of this year to become Attorney General. So the learning curve has been steep. One of the first things that I've realized is that it is so important that this is a partnership between Kansas City, the police board, the police department, the leadership, and our office. Fighting crime is going to be my #1 priority, but really we have pretty limited direct jurisdiction. Most often we get in cases because we have been invited in by the local prosecutor or handling appeals. And we do handle appeals for the whole state. That's critically important because obviously the cases going up on appeal are convictions. Acquittals don't go up on appeal, so if we're going to make them stick, and that is very important to me, that we have a robust and talented staff to support those appeals. But in terms of forming this partnership, I want to work closely with the elected prosecutor. I want to work closely with all of you to find out exactly what you need and how we can be helpful in a real partnership. I'm so pleased to see that the crime stats in Kansas City and other areas of the state are on the right trend line, that violent crime is going down. I think no time like the present to try and expedite that trend. And there's a couple of things that we can do. Obviously, we can loan talent to the prosecutor's office to help with the case burden. We can take some cases on. We also have some new tools to work on homelessness. And I'm not in a position today to kind of elaborate on that other than to say, I think we're going to start a pilot project before the end of the year, possibly in Springfield. I think we'll start with a slightly smaller community, make sure that we're kind of work all the kinks out, but it's something that I hope we can bring to Kansas City. And then the other thing that I hope to do as Attorney General, we have done a good job as an office under General Hawley, General Schmidt, General Bailey, of focusing on big constitutional issues. I think that there is a lot of room for improvement in kind of some of the more mundane and boring things, but the things that the AG's office has responsibility for and aren't so boring if it happens to you, like Medicaid fraud, consumer fraud, fraud on the elderly, fraud after a big storm. And that isn't something that local prosecutors have as much capacity to do, and we do have direct jurisdiction. So in order to do those things effectively, I'm going to spend a lot of time on recruiting talent, retaining talent. We have an office here in Kansas City. I'd like to expand that office. So I just thank you for the opportunity to appear before you. And as I said, I really look forward to getting to know all of you better and forming a very effective partnership. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much for that, and I can tell you that we also look forward to a partnership and having ongoing dialogue. Thank you for sharing your priorities.
Thank you.
And we look forward to working with you.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
if I may just briefly, I want to say, General Hanaway, thank you for joining us on behalf of the elected officials in Kansas City, myself, and the City Council. We appreciate your opportunity to collaborate. We may all share different views at times, but we all agree that our communities need to be safer. We look forward to a partner in the Attorney General's office to do that. If I may say further, I appreciate you returning to public service. It is not easy. I know you have given a tour of duty already. We appreciate, and all the people of Missouri appreciate the fact that you're willing to do so again. So thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, I understand you will not have a designee this morning?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. And so, Madam Prosecutor, thank you for being with us this morning.
Good morning, President Whitaker, the entire board, all of the commissioners, and to the entire Kansas City Police Department, and of course to General Hanaway. It is so nice to formally meet you, and thank you for expressing your genuine desire to elaborate on our partnership, because I could not agree more, and I look forward to building this working relationship on behalf of all of our constituents in the state of Missouri. And like General Hanaway, who is counting, this has been her 15th day. This is my 10th month. I'm inching up quickly on my 10th month, and it has been such a pleasure to work with this department and to be here every month showcasing our progress as a result of this partnership and collaboration between both of our offices. I'd like to first start sharing some statistics from the first 3 quarters of my administration. On average, we have charged about 61% of all cases submitted to the office. And just to put that in context, in January when I was sworn in, that rate was 41%. And it reached as high as 80% in the month of March, shortly after I launched the Renewed Crime Strategies Unit. And so those statistics, those improvements would not be possible without this robust collaboration. But I want to be very clear. I want to see that number continue to rise. Right now, we have about 1,103 cases under review in my office, meaning that prosecutors are working hard with law enforcement to get additional information to make sure that we fortify our cases and present solid pieces of evidence so that we can get the convictions that this community deserves. And we don't measure success solely by case filing rates. We also want to look at the convictions that we have been able to obtain. We have received about 65% of our cases have been disposed via guilty verdicts, and 99% of our cases that went to trial received guilty verdicts. And that's right on par with the federal standard as well. And so I'm very proud of our office for taking more cases to trial and for performing at a high level when that does happen. But I do want to be transparent. While we are seeing some improvements, also Save KC, and I think the last time I was here with you, we talked about the drastic improvements that we are seeing amongst group-related and gang-related violence. We do have some difficulties ahead. Commissioner Kramer spoke briefly about the city's available jail space, but something that is coming more to the forefront is our issues with Jackson County's available detention space. It is not just the city. Jackson County Detention Center is at capacity. In fact, it is over capacity right now. And the moment that the new facility opens, I believe in December or February coming up, it will be over capacity the moment that the new facility is open and available to our community's use. And so what does that mean in practice? And I'm probably preaching to the choir by now. It puts our judges in a position where they have to make some difficult decisions as it pertains to bond, because when you have a full jail, you have to consider a totality of circumstances to see if somebody can be supervised in the community, meaning people that do pose a public safety danger will likely be returning to our community even before they have been found guilty. And with higher charging rates, and not having more available jail capacity, that is certainly going to be a difficulty, but it's one that we are prepared to streamline and to work through, and will leave no stone unturned to try to make sure that we find the appropriate balance by capitalizing on our available jail space, but also recognizing that our infrastructure does not necessarily align with some of our community's desires and plans, which is not new. We've been here before, and we will strategize through it as we have always done. A few notable cases that I do want to highlight for the board and the department as a whole. We were able to charge a woman in connection with the fatal shooting that killed a teenage girl on August 9th. We're grateful for the quick police investigative work that led to these charges. And at the last meeting, I discussed a series of shootings into homes that we charged 3 men for. In the aftermath of their arrest, there was some witness tampering, alleged witness tampering on social media done by one of their associates. We were proud to charge those men with tampering with a witness in felony prosecution, and proud of the great follow-up work done by detectives. This community needs to feel comfortable and confident in participating with law enforcement, and then the next step of participating with prosecution. And so we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that people feel empowered and emboldened to speak up when they see something, because we cannot do this work without community. Lastly, before I open myself to any questions, October next month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And as you know, our domestic violence fatality numbers have been on the rise. And my office is preparing to host an event very soon, and we will be in touch with the department to make sure that you all have an opportunity to participate. And while I am on this subject, I do have to give a shout out to Captain Hewitt, who has been leaving no stone unturned as it pertains to trying to find proactive ways law enforcement and prosecutors can engage with domestic violence survivors, with domestic violence offenders, to try to prevent more of these incidents before they happen. And so with that, I am available for any questions.
Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor, as always, for coming in. We appreciate the strong work. I want to take your comments and take an opportunity to amplify a few things we've worked on, particularly while we have such an official and impressive audience. The group violence reduction strategy that Kansas City, this police department, and your office have worked on for some time with many other colleagues has shown real results. And I always want to amplify it. I visited with a group, the Kansas City Association of Black Journalists, the other day, and wanted to make sure my numbers were correct. In some of our patrol divisions, and by the way, every homicide is a tragedy. So don't look at these numbers to say things are all right. Absolutely. I look at these numbers to show our progress. In 2023 in East Patrol, we had 55 homicides. Last year, we had 41, down a significant number. In Metro Patrol Division, 43, down to 32. What we are seeing is 40, 50% declines in some areas, even greater in connection with what we're seeing. A large part of that relates to the intensive work that you do and that so many others do in connection with that. So I thank you for that work. We cannot invest enough in that work. Thank you, Chief. I know that we have other events coming up soon where we will continue to use that focused deterrence model to make sure that we are addressing situations, and this collaboration is something that's vital in connection with it. Thank you also for zeroing in on domestic violence and that challenge. In patrol divisions where we've seen homicide increases, one in your jurisdiction, South Patrol, others in Clay County and Platte, where we have seen homicides, we have seen domestic or relationship-related violence issues that continue to be a very real challenge. This department does hard work to address it. I thank you for that collaboration too. I'm going to go off on a real tangent that you don't have to nod to at all because it's not your realm. Very disappointed to hear the Jackson County Jail issue, at least in terms of the numbers relating to the fact that it will be oversubscribed the day it opens. That is a roughly $300 million facility, a very large expense for the taxpayers of Jackson County, which I'm one, you are, many others. And I hope that the county works collaboratively with others to make sure that there is a solution to addressing that issue long-term, rather than folks either being pushed down just to the municipal system when they do need state charges or other types of items. That also, Commissioner Kramer, is an important guide for us at the city level to make sure that we build at both accurate size and resources so that the day the new Kansas City facility opens, and I believe we will have a temporary facility, Commissioner Kramer, open by this spring, to ensure that we do have numbers that are able to address the public safety need and concerns relating to it. I'll make my final point, Mr. Chairman, just on this, which is collaboration. We didn't get a chance to speak about Commissioner Kramer, but when she came to this board in the summer or fall of 2021, for any who remember the time in America, in our state and in our city, it was one that was vastly more fraught in terms of how everyone gets along. Something that I will forever tribute Commissioner Kramer to is the fact that she said, we can all meet, we can all grab coffee, and the darndest thing was she would really do it with absolutely anyone. Those who had spoken ill of her personally, some who had spoken ill of this department, of our prosecutors, of others, and she brought many together. That is an incredible compliment to who you are as a person and as a human being. And I think that you have been a model for our police chief, for our new elected prosecutor in Jackson County, for all of our prosecutors and this entire board, and being the type of board you described, and in everyone knowing that we're working together to make this community safer. So thank you to all of you for all that you have done to bring us together. As the one person who's been around through a lot of it, and kind of the one man, I don't know if it's a problem with us or anything else, but I do want to say my tremendous thank you to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for highlighting our progresses, especially with Save KC, because a lot of these statistics you just mentioned are concentrated in areas where we do have a heavy population of Save KC participants. But if I may just take a quick point of privilege, and to Commissioner Kramer, Mayor, what you just said is spot on. I vividly remember that we were all just toiling about what do we do about violent crime specifically in our city. And we had an opportunity to go to New York for the Bloomberg Cities Collaboration Track. And we knew that we couldn't make any plan or do any work without strong representation from the Board of Police Commissioners. And when Commissioner Kramer was asked if she would join our planning team, which ended up becoming Partners for Peace, which became Save KC, Commissioner Kramer said yes. And so thank you so much for your time, for your partnership, for your encouragement, and I wish you the best in your endeavors as you move forward. Thank you very much.
Prosecutor, thank you for being with us again this month.
I will see you next month.
Chief, I'll turn it to you.
Sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners and Mr. Mayor. I know we had an early morning already. I just want to recognize Ryan Mills. He, to our executive staff, his promotion is officially effective this coming Sunday, And on Monday, he will officially change out his gold leaves for silver to signify his deputy chief rank. But you're a wonderful addition and an easy choice.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate it.
Dark and early this morning, the mayor and I talked to our local media about the Blue Light Initiative here in our city. And you'll see KCPD police cars patrolling our city with steady blue lights to deter crime by improving officer visibility and to enhance the public's feeling of safety within Kansas City. We'll utilize the blue lights while patrolling our entertainment districts and select areas for crime prevention and intervention, and also when patrol has been requested. We hope these blue lights will increase our community's observation of police presence and have a deterrent effect on potential crime. On August 31st of 2025, KCPD hit a sworn member milestone with 1,130 sworn officers and 71 recruits in the academy, totaling 1,201. We have not hit 1,200 sworn members since 2019. 38 of the 71 recruits in the academy will graduate on November 20th. And also, just a little over a week ago, we graduated 4 more call takers and continue to conduct numerous interviews of candidates for our communications unit. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, while some of these recruits haven't graduated yet, we are really on a momentum here at KCPD. And Deputy Chief Ortiz might provide a little bit more information on what we're looking at for our January class, but it's shaping up to be maybe one for the books. I also welcomed a new Citizens Police Academy this month who are spending time with us each week to learn about KCPD. And lastly, I attended a Safety of Our Cities conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Several major city chiefs were in attendance, and we discussed technology, innovation, and taking a holistic approach to safety in our city, similar to what we're doing here in Kansas City. A few agencies discussed their Drones as First Responders program, which is launching here in KCPD also really soon. This past month, innovation and technology are at the forefront here at KCPD. Our Drones as First Responders are in its pilot stage. I really didn't, no pun intended on that one. That just kind of came out. Peregrine is changing the way we process information and making our KCPD data available at light speed. We placed additional camera coverage in our city to help solve crime. And our new command post bus will be featured on the Expo floor at the International Association of Chiefs of Police in Denver, Colorado in October. And all of what I just mentioned are due to the generosity of our Kansas City Police Foundation, and there's more to come. I just want to let you know, as we're getting closer to the end of the year, we're at a great place here at KCPD. You know, initiatives like the Blue Light, the Drones as First Responders, Peregrine, the momentum in getting new numbers here at KCPD, and it's not just sworn, it's also our professional staff. We're moving in a good direction, and we're going to continue. I just wanted to let the board know about that. I might share some numbers with you probably in November of how we're looking in January and how we're going to round out the year. So I'm here for any questions.
Let me just react first to the continued focus on talent development and recruitment and retention. And the 1,201 number is not lost on this board, and the progress that you've made with that the whole department has made with that. And while that's great, combining that with the new technology is even more powerful, and I think we will continue to support ways of new policing that involves technology to make us even more effective. So thank you for the update on both of those matters. Any other questions or reaction? Deputy Chief Niemeyer.
Good morning. My items will be under tab B in your book, but before we start that, I also I just want to take a minute and say congratulations to Sergeant Rizzo on his retirement. He is, just like Deputy Chief Young, he was a classmate of mine in the 94th Entrant Officer class. So congratulations to him. And also, the Chief already mentioned it. I would like to, too. He's going to be shocked, but I want to say congratulations to Ryan Mills. I'm happy that you're at this table with us. I really am. To begin the presentation for Investigations Bureau, I want to introduce Captain Lamport. He is in charge of our drug enforcement unit. With him will be Sergeant Cramblett. We've discussed this over the last really 20 months on drug overdoses and other things. And I think they're going to be able to talk about some good news, the things that we did, the things that Captain Lamport put into place to have a response to our drug overdoses that we really didn't have before. So I will let him take over from here.
Morning, everyone. I'm Ed Lamport. I'm the captain over the Special Investigation Unit, which I'm assigned to the Drug Enforcement Unit. Under that unit, I have admin squad, drug investigation squad, drug interdiction, and financial investigation section. Today, I have Sergeant Cramblett here. He's going to kind of give you a little snapshot of what he does with his squad in the admin squad and provide some insight of changes he's made since he's been a supervisor down there, so we can further investigate the overdoses or drug-related overdoses. Without further ado,
Morning. Morning.
I'm going to just go through a small, short little PowerPoint. It kind of gives a brief overview of what my squad does. I currently have 6 detectives. 5 of those detectives are TFO'd with the DEA that we work hand in hand with down at the office. One of our main responsibilities of our squad is to provide the assistance to the district officers who get people in custody with narcotics, whether it's through a traffic violation or call for service. We take those cases, my detectives interview the suspects, and then we further that through all the way through prosecution until it gets adjudicated in court. During that time, they do very good comprehensive interviews with the suspects to see if we can further a narcotics trafficking case with what we have at that time. The other part that we do is, and I'll talk more about it on the next slide, is the drug overdoses, both the fatal and non-fatal cases. I said currently, we present cases to the Jackson County, Clay County, and Platte County prosecutors. We also do presentations for their grand juries for all the cases. We do those every Thursday, and we roughly have about 50 to 60 cases. We also assist with the crime lab in the drug destruction and drug audits that they do monthly. And then part of that process with the interviews of the suspects, we also try to cultivate confidential informants to help us with the drug cases and drug trafficking that's out there in Kansas City. Hand in hand, we do help other units in our building with surveillance. And then one of the most important pieces that we do is we have an educational program, and I have a detective that goes through and presents to schools, community events, more of the educational of what to look for, what drugs look like, what to be on the lookout for as far as people consuming those. What we've done too is partnered up with Michelle Lane, who is a representative from North Kansas City Hospital. She partners with us, and she is able to talk about the effects of Narcan, what the physical characteristics are of people that are under the influence for those people to look for. So we've done, I think, 6 to 7 schools already this year. All right, next slide is how we respond to the overdoses. So we partner up with Missing Persons Unit, who are responsible for all of the dead bodies in the city. What their responsibility is when they go to the scene, if they recognize that it's a potential for a narcotic overdose, they give my detectives a call and we respond out. That kind of looks like we go if there's evidence there for us to seize and recover electronic devices that can further the drug investigation on that part of it. We also are responsible for the non-fatal overdoses also. So each one of the cases of the non-fatal overdoses starts with the district officer going on an ambulance call. They take a report called a casualty report. Every single one of those casualty reports gets assigned to a detective. That detective tries to contact the person, the consumer that overdosed, to see if they need any help, give them an opportunity to get self-help and recognize that they have an issue. With that being said, we've also partnered up with the City of Kansas City's Health Department, and we offer them the First Call. First Call is a 24-hour based hotline that they can call for resources, help, anything that they can. So we do that together, and we've had good success on those. A lot of the times, though, we don't have contact with those folks, those consumers. They just don't give the correct, accurate information to the officers that take the report, unfortunately. We also are responsible for entering all this information into the national OD map to track not only the fatal, but the non-fatal overdoses as well. And then on the overdoses, we've had great success with our prosecuting attorneys on charging numerous people for the overdose death. And that was through some of the evidence that we recovered from the crime scene and interviews, technology. We've got several of those cases in court right now, just waiting for adjudication. The next slide gives us a little overview of what our overdose totals are right now. They are considerably down. From January to December of last year, we had a total of 174 fatal overdoses. This year, currently, we're only at 93. And to give kind of a better perspective, August of '24, we had 18 fatal overdoses. August of this year, we've had 1. We can contribute a lot of that to not only what we do here in Kansas City, but nationally. We've received information from our federal partners. For example, the border being closed down and locked down affects the amount of drugs coming into the United States. It also affects what we see here. The social information that's put out there in regards to overdoses, the availability of Narcan, all affect everything that we do here in Kansas City. So we're on the right track. Hopefully we can continue with the lower numbers, if you will. That is the shortest PowerPoint ever. Happy to answer any questions.
You ended on a very high note, bad pun intended there, not intended, to see the decline in fatalities. So that's, and my question is going to be what's attributing to that, because whenever we see metrics changing, but thank you for anticipating the question and providing that. I think it was a month or two ago, Deputy Chief Niemeyer, we talked about the new version of fentanyl that we're seeing. Is that still a trend? Is that still something that you're aware of?
The purple fentanyl. So we've seen it. It was in the news, a couple months ago. Fentanyl's out there. The purple part of it is just a color adding. It is laced sometimes with lidocaine, all that stuff. Narcan still works. It's the root cause of the fentanyl that the Narcan attacks. The reason they're mixing it is so it's a tranquilizer, so they can enjoy their high even longer. But we've seen it here in Kansas City. We've recovered some. Absolutely.
Actually, you kind of stole my thunder with that question. I was going to say we got through that presentation without you saying fentanyl. Correct. And I remember last year that was, we couldn't get through a conversation without talking about fentanyl. And what are you finding? I think it's very positive. Thank you so much, Sergeant. It's very positive that the numbers have gone down incredibly. What are your other findings that might be leading to that? Is it also the education in the schools? Is it the...
I think it's a combination of everything. With the border being locked down, it's harder for drugs to get in. They're still getting in, but I think the other part of it is the educational part of it, especially with North Kansas City jumping on board, going to the schools and teaching what we see and how to recognize that stuff. It all kind of works together. And we receive that same information from our DEA partners, our federal partners that we work with. They're seeing a decrease in the amount of drugs coming in too, which kind of slows everything down.
So what about the folks pushing this stuff? What about the people selling? And that may be, I don't know if that's beyond your purview, but are we finding an increase in being able to catch the guys who are kind of the large rings who are moving the drugs throughout our community?
We're seeing an increase. Technology works to our advantage. And it starts with the district officer's level of arrests when we go and interview those folks. We do a lot of stuff on the back end to identify those drug dealers. There are always going to be drug dealers out there. They've kind of shifted patterns a little bit on what they're selling. So, you have fentanyl, you have meth, all that. Some of these folks are going back into crack because cocaine's a little cheaper and it's easier to make.
Thank you, Sergeant.
I may just say this. Thank you all for your work. I know in recent years we have tasked you, particularly in connection with the fentanyl task force and making sure you work closely with the health department. That work has been impressive, and I thank you for it and your focus on these things. Just to ensure, and drugs writ large have different discussions in society sometimes, but you are addressing very challenging items in our city. We had more fatal overdoses last year than we had homicides. And homicides get necessarily a great amount of attention, but this is an incredible challenge to our community. It's just one brief story. I've been blessed to do police ride-alongs, not just in this jurisdiction, but once I was with the Los Angeles Police Department, and they took me to the Skid Row area. I was walking with a sergeant who said that a district car was going to follow us. At first I said, "Why? I'm with you." She explained just the number of people there who are entirely drug dependent, how you can have an entire Skid Row, and all the challenges you face. This city also faces some of those challenges acutely. And so as we address ranging from homelessness to other crime issues, regular nuisance issues, and others, the work that you gentlemen do and all of your peers is key to how we address them, in my opinion, in our community. I share the views of Commissioner Romius in terms of noting that we do need to continue to try to address, incarcerate, charge as many as possible that we know are involved in trafficking these narcotics into our community, trying our level best to make sure that people who need help do certainly get it. But I just want to commend you all in an area that may not get a lot of attaboys, and I know that's not why you go into the work, but we recognize the hard work that you're doing, and I thank you and your colleagues for doing so.
Appreciate that.
Well, while they're still standing there, I really want to take 1 second. I know he does this every time he has an assignment, but Captain Lamport's standing back there, and he always puts the people to the forefront. But I tasked him when we came to investigations to change the process. We need a process to figure this out on overdoses, how we're going to respond, what we're going to do, when we're going to prosecute. He did that, and I will say, I mean, ABO and those folks have taken over the hiring a ton of people for our police department right now. And when we were struggling hiring people, people don't know this, but Captain Lamport was tasked with, can you get us a process where we can hire people faster? And he put in a process where we were getting people through in 30 days. And you might, Mayor, you might be the only one that remembers this because I think the board has turned over since then, but that was Captain Lamport, and as you can see, he just kind of stands in the background, but he's the guy that gets things done. So I just want to say thanks to Ed.
I will note briefly, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, and it's proof that you're a good officer. I didn't know his name forever and a day, and it was just, you did all these efficient things that were helpful for our department. That's a credit to who you are, all the people that you're putting forward in our department, and as the Deputy Chief notes, we truly appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Before I get started on all of our normal things, I want to say thank you to President Whitaker. I was told that you went to RCFL, or some people on the board went up to RCFL. I appreciate that and spoke with them. They do some, I always want to talk to the board and tell more things about what the Investigations Bureau does, but most of that is behind the scenes work that we can't necessarily speak about publicly. So I appreciate you meeting with them.
Well, they are an impressive group, and what they are doing is remarkable. And I really thank them for taking the time to show me around and explain what they do behind the scenes so effectively. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, we have a lot of amazing people here that are not out front and being seen or being heard from, but they do a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes. Okay, the first item is our blue sheet, as we always start with. I think you're gonna notice right away. In 2025, so far, we've had 117 homicides as compared to last year, 117 at this exact same time. In 2025, we've cleared 58 homicides, 23 homicides for the previous year with a total of 81 cases, and that is a 69% clearance rate. I will note that we do have 15, I think it was yesterday, I haven't looked at the blue sheet myself, you guys have it in front of you, but we had 15 cases pending at the prosecutor's office, so I do look forward to that number rising on the clearance rate. Breakdown of homicides by division. In August, Center Zone had 4, Metro Patrol had 2, East Patrol had 4, North Patrol had 0, South Patrol had 1, and Shoal Creek Division had 0. We currently have 9 homicides for the month of September. Our non-fatal shooting comparison report. This is January the 1st till September the 21st. We have had 312 non-fatal shooting victims compared to 463 victims at the same time last year. As you can see, we're down 33%. That has really been the number that we've been hanging around for the last several months. We had 50 non-fatal shootings in the month of August compared to 51 at the same time last year. I will say that in September, I hesitate to say this, but in September we are next month's board report should make that number even more impressive. And to finish my presentation, I'd like to give you a few updates and some other things that happen on our department and especially the Investigations Bureau. But I want to bring your attention to the Internet Crimes Against Children, which is also known as ICAC, and Sergeant Dumit's squad, along with the FBI, as has been seen on TV already. They received a tip, and it immediately alerted them. They received a lot of tips, but they immediately was alerted this one tip that identified a suspect. They acted quickly, as he was named as had been a substitute teacher within our school system, and actually was now a full-time teacher and was in his second day of teaching. They identified that suspect, arrested that suspect within 48 hours, and charged that suspect with 7 federal crimes. So that is an example of, from the time they received the information to the time they worked that case and had that person in custody so they could not harm any other children, was amazing. So I want to thank them. Again, behind the scenes work that the public doesn't see, but is a very important job. We had a shooting this past month down here at 13th and Grand. Again, on TV or on the news, very well covered. That homicide investigation, I would like you to know, detectives have been working closely with the prosecutor's office. We have lots of footage. There's lots of video footage out there that people have seen of that. We expect the prosecutor's office to charge something in the very near future. And lastly, I'd like to recognize Detective Brad Bailey. He works in our gang unit. Just last week, he was awarded Gang Investigator of the Year Award for the state of Missouri this past week in Springfield. He has done amazing work within our Special Investigations Division. And again, I talk about the behind-the-scenes folks. There they are. They're doing everything they can to make our city safe. So with that, I will take any questions.
Chief. Thank you as always. Appreciate that. Chief Maven, good morning.
Good morning. My information is located under tab C of your board books, where you can follow along on your screen. I'll cover some Patrol Bureau notable events from the reporting period, also the median response time report, and then the Traffic Division report. Beginning with Central Patrol Division, they continue to collaborate with the city and the Downtown Council to enhance safety and security in downtown Kansas City, specifically in surface area parking lots. And just last week, Kopake & Brooks, a commercial real estate firm, announced security upgrades at the parking lot at 12th and Grand, which will include installing controlled access, adding more lights and cameras, and no trespassing signs. And the department has increased its proactive on-duty and off-duty patrols in the area. And the city is providing support to fund additional private security in the area. East Patrol Division has been working with multiple city departments, including Planning and Development, the Health Department, Regulated Industries, and the Land Bank to address ongoing violations and community concerns with a nightclub in the 4800 block of East 24th Street. In response to persistent complaints, East Patrol has implemented several enforcement and preventative measures, to include getting no trespassing signs placed at 2 vacant lots where people loiter near the club. On August 15th, officers towed 5 vehicles from the area, and a week later, officers observed additional parking violations and towed 4 more vehicles. During the inventory of one of the vehicles, officers recovered a handgun and multiple rifle and handgun magazines. Over the past several weekends, East Patrol, alongside the multidisciplinary Public Safety Task Force members, KCFD fire marshals, regulated industries, and liquor control, have conducted coordinated regulatory enforcement at the business. These efforts addressed a wide range of issues, including capacity and fire exit violations, unpermitted food truck violations, and repeated parking infractions. The cumulative impact of these actions led to the temporary closure of the business. East Patrol continues to work closely with planning and development to pursue a permanent resolution. Community feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, with many residents expressing appreciation for the department's efforts. South Patrol Division hosted an event with a local community group called Hairmanity. According to Christina White, Hairmanity's co-founder, the purpose of the organization is to instill confidence into those in our community who feel underserved. The event provided young men free haircuts and young ladies free hairstyles as they returned to school after the summer break. The event also offered free clothes and shoes to approximately 200 families. The Police Athletic League had a total of 1,187 visits with a daily average of 55 visits. They also had 22 new enrollments. As Sergeant Harris reported last month, on August 11 through 16, PAL kids and staff members traveled to Washington, D.C. They visited several museums, including the National Museum of African American History and the Holocaust Memorial Museum. They also visited the U.S. Capitol. Our LGBTQ+ liaison officer, Alex Saragusa, performed active shooter response and stop the bleed training for the staff at Hale Cook Elementary School. Officer Saragusa also presented a seminar on trauma-informed mass casualty preparedness for targeted populations at the National Homeland Security Conference in Washington, D.C. Our social service specialists completed 115 referrals during the reporting period. They also participated in Mayor Pro Tem Raina Park Shaw's 5th District Operation Buyback event, where approximately 20 community vendors were present and distributed 300 backpacks and school supplies to children, while our social service specialists installed 80 free car seats. On August 9th, social services hosted the 4th annual block party at Ashland Square Park, where there were over 25 vendors at the event, along with food trucks, a balloon animal stand, and approximately 500 community members attended. Our rapid deployment squad arrested a total of 11 armed robbery suspects, 13 aggravated assault suspects from 13 separate aggravated assaults, and a homicide suspect during the reporting period. They also recovered 6 stolen vehicles and 21 firearms. In total, they cleared 71 felony arrests, including outstanding warrants and new felony charges. Here are the median response time reports. We experienced increases in both priority 1 and 2 response time during the month of August. The median response time for priority 1 calls was about 8 minutes and 57 seconds. That is an 11-second increase compared to July. The median response time for priority 2 calls was 11 minutes and 16 seconds, a 15-second increase compared to July. As far as priority 1 response times are concerned, we've seen an increase from July to August every year since 2022. Last year, we saw the least increase, but the other years were in line with this year's increase. And that being said, it should be noted all patrol division stations had officers conduct a mandatory training day during the reporting period. And 4 of the 6 patrol divisions had increases in self-initiated activity during the reporting period. So these factors can contribute to few cars being immediately available to calls for service. Traffic division report. There were 1,545 traffic accidents citywide in August 2025. That's about the same as the previous month and a 9% increase compared to August 2024. From January 1 to August 31, there were a total of 11,882 crashes citywide. That's about a 2% increase compared to the same period last year. But looking at fatal crashes specifically, you will see that there were 45 through the end of August with a total of 48 victims. In 2024, there were 56 fatal crashes with 63 victims during the same time period. This translates to a 20% decrease in the number of fatal crashes and a 24% decrease in the number of victims. The department issued a total of 5,591 traffic tickets during the rating period. That's a 3% decrease compared to July, but a 4% increase compared to August 2024. We are still slightly ahead of last year in terms of total tickets written. We conducted one large-scale sideshow enforcement operation during the reporting period. Officers from across the department participated in the operation, along with members of the Clay County Sheriff's Department, Jackson County Sheriff's Department, Independence Police Department, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol. We disrupted 2 organized sideshows during the operation and dispersed 2 motorcycle and ATV groups. Officers conducted 19 vehicle stops, issued 11 street racing tickets, and 18 other citations. They made 3 arrests for felony warrants and eluding, recovered 2 guns, towed 8 vehicles, and deployed stop sticks on 5 vehicles. And last but not least, K9 Lookie turned 8 years old on August 8th. He's a senior dog in the K9 unit. Usually they can serve about 8 or 9 years as working dogs before they have to retire, at which time they'll often go off to live with their handler. That's all my information. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Just a quick question, Deputy Chief. I'm thinking about these high crash locations and the information you provide, and looking at some of them where the numbers are in the double digits. And can you share with us some of the strategies that you all are enlisting to try to address some of these high crash locations and bring those numbers down?
All right, we look at the, like you indicated, the high crash locations on a quarterly basis, and we will assign those as traffic complaints to where our traffic enforcement unit responds to those areas and conducts high-speed enforcement. And on highways, we'll have call downs where we'll have certain days of the week where we'll have additional traffic officers pulling over high speeding or high speeders in those locations. So we look at that on a quarterly basis and make sure that we respond to those locations. And that's one of the reasons I believe that we have reduced the amount of fatal accidents is our traffic enforcement unit has really been getting out, writing tickets, and trying to bring those speeds down.
I wasn't certain if there could be a partnership with the city regarding like the timing of lights and all of that. I mean, it's more than just enforcement, but it's also light timing, and does all that come into play with regard to some of these dangerous intersections? Or?
Right, we have a monthly meeting where we meet with traffic engineers and other folks from the city on the Vision Zero KC to try to reduce fatality accidents. And we also work with MoDOT along the same kind of thing to see if there's any environmental or structural or light signal changes that can reduce the number of serious accidents at locations.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for that. Deputy Chief Ortiz.
Good morning again, Commissioners and Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to present today's update. Deputy Chief Mills, congratulations. Looking forward to working with you. I'll start my section by introducing Director Kevin Weiner, who will share a brief presentation on the outstanding work our Regional Crime Lab Director Weiner is nationally recognized for his leadership and expertise in forensic science, including bloodstain pattern analysis, trace evidence, forensic chemistry, and crime scene investigations. He also serves on several national boards and plays a key role in guiding one of the department's most vital and complex units and division. Following his presentation, I'll provide updates in two areas: workforce development and recruitment efforts. Director Weiner, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Commissioners, Chief Graves, executive staff, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And also thank you for your support of the laboratory. I feel like my role is to be the best stewards of resources and provide the best value for forensic services that the city has to offer. So with that, I'm going to provide a brief overview of the services that we provide. Keeping it at a very high level, we're not going to talk about DNA technologies or anything like that right now. And then I'll obviously have an opportunity to answer any questions you might have. So with that, obviously the staff of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department is the critical component of what allowing forensic science services and other services to be offered to the community, not just Kansas City, Missouri, but the entire region. 85 professional staff at the Kansas City Police Crime Lab account for about 15% of the over 500 professional staff on the Kansas City Police Department as a whole. This photograph, if you're wondering where it was taken on the roof of the crime lab, so you can see the city in the background. I am very proud of all the staff. They are very dedicated. They understand the role of a civilian role in law enforcement and what that means not only for the police department but also for the community, basically providing facts to the criminal justice system. The Police Department Crime Lab and the Crime Lab Division is divided into 9 separate elements. The Property and Evidence Unit, the Administrative Unit, and 7 elements of the Crime Lab. I'm just going to briefly cover each one of these elements very briefly. The Property and Evidence Unit, as you might be aware of, manages all the property, which could be stolen property. It also manages all the evidence. On an average monthly basis, the Property and Evidence Unit is managing about 5,000 items. Many of those items, we attempt to reunite that property with the owner. So if somebody has stolen property, it could be anywhere from a wallet to a refrigerator and anything between. That property could get returned. The photograph on the right is depicting one of our storage locations. This is actually a storage for firearms. Each one of these white boxes that you see there is a pistol or a handgun. We have a large volume of firearms evidence that we have to maintain, just to give you an idea of the types of things that we have to maintain. There are over 640,000 items that the Property and Evidence Unit manages, from evidence in a homicide investigation to stolen property that's recovered and everything in between. This photograph gives you an idea of one of our warehouse locations and the types of evidence that's encountered. Again, anything could be an item, and the Property and Evidence Unit manages them. To give you an idea of how the evidence moves around, many items, let's say, for example, a firearm is collected by an officer. The evidence gets moved throughout the police department by the Property and Evidence Unit. Also, our crime scene investigation unit could also collect evidence. All those firearms, for example, go to the crime lab, but then those evidence go back to the Property and Evidence Unit, and then there's going to be some sort of disposition of that evidence. Either it's going to be going back and forth to court for testimony purposes. That could be actually released back to the owner, and so the Property and Evidence Unit would be responsible for releasing items such as firearms or anything else back to the owner, or the item can be destroyed. And that kind of gives you an idea of the timeline or the history of what happens with property and evidence. It's not just a matter of collecting it and putting it on a shelf. Also keeping in mind that if if all we did was collect evidence, put it on a shelf, you're always going to need larger storage space. So you have to get to a point where you have to reach some disposition. So whether or not it's destroying drugs or guns or whatever it might be, that is a constant process that has to happen. So obviously, in addition to the property and evidence unit, as far as part of the laboratory division, there's also the Kansas City Police Crime Laboratory. We are charged with keeping Kansas City safer by using science. And I think I can't say it any more succinct than that. We provide facts for the criminal justice system, and we're counted on to be relied upon to provide those facts. Regardless of what those results are, it is a result, and that is shared. Okay? An important aspect of the laboratory is accreditation and quality. If a laboratory does not produce quality results, it's not going to be a laboratory much longer. And so we have a quality assurance manager, Manager Hummel, who is charged with ensuring that we maintain not only our accreditation, but we provide a high-quality work product. And so there are over 200 requirements that we have to meet to maintain our accreditation. And unfortunately, there's a lot of paperwork and then there's a lot of policies and procedures that just within the laboratory that we have to maintain. There's over 2,000 pages of policies and procedures, just a mountain of things to manage. And so along those lines with making sure that we have high quality work, we also are trying to constantly improve. And as you are fully aware, forensic science is constantly changing in technology, and we're trying to keep up with that. And we have a lot of support from the police department, the police foundation, to make sure we are properly equipped with all the equipment we need to stay current. Obviously, we are employees of Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, obviously employees and therefore of the city, but we also provide services to regional agencies. Just to give you an idea, the vast majority of cases, as you can see by this pie chart, are KCPD investigations, but a smaller proportion is for regional agencies. So not only would this be like a suburban agency, but also attorneys themselves. We actually do cases for the courts, judge-ordered cases, things like that. To give you an idea of the various requesting agencies, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but each one of these stars represents an agency we've provided services to in the last few years. So these would be agencies in the metropolitan area. And then the next image is across the state of Missouri. So I've got Kansas City and St. Louis just to kind of give you an idea of markers there. But we do work cases throughout the state of Missouri, some cases in Kansas. We've worked cases in Arkansas up to South Dakota, but the vast majority of cases are regionally in nature. Okay? As far as the type of testing we do, again, I'm not going to go into detail about all the different types of tests we do, but generally speaking, they fall into 7 different categories, and these represent the different sections of the laboratory. So crime scene investigation, chemistry, digital evidence, DNA, fingerprints, firearms, and trace. And briefly, I'm going to cover each. I think most people understand what crime scene investigation is, but to actually do crime scene investigation requires a staff of about 20 people, and it's a 24/7 operation. Not only are they processing crime scenes, but also persons either at headquarters that have been arrested, dead bodies at the morgue, vehicles, and a variety of other areas. They also do more advanced techniques like bolt trajectory and bloodstain pattern analysis. Chemistry services, so Sergeant Cramwell had just spoken about the recovery of drug evidence. This is just to give you an example of some of the types of pills that we encounter. Yeah, there's purple pills and all sorts of different color pills, but as far as what is in the pill, that is the requirement or the task that laboratory staff have to determine. Many of these pills contain multiple different controlled substances. It could be meth or fentanyl or whatever it might be, and so the lab staff would have to identify what drugs are present. To give you an idea of the amount of dose of fentanyl that would be lethal, it's that small amount of powder there next to the penny. To give you an idea of a very small amount of fentanyl can be fatal, and that gives you an idea of the potency. And so when these pills are manufactured, probably and definitely in an illicit manner, the amount of fentanyl that could be in a pill could vary widely. And so that is maybe a contributing factor to the overdose deaths that Sergeant Cramlett talked about. The chemistry section also does fire debris analysis, attempting to identify accelerant in arson investigations. Digital evidence section has been changing dramatically over the years. This actually used to be the section where they would do color photographic processing, where they would use the wet chemistry to develop film. Obviously, this has changed dramatically over the last, since my career over the last 30 years. Give you an example, this is the image at the upper right is an image that was found over social media, and the image at the bottom was an image of a gun that was collected, and we actually had the gun in the lab, and the question is, are they the same gun? And you're like, well, you look at the make and model, but what we're looking at is unique identifiers like scratches or marks, and to see whether or not that gun that's in the image on social media, was it the same gun that you see that was collected? They also do audio analysis. This is just an audiogram to give you an idea of removing anything that could be difficult to hear, enhancing the quality of images, or enhancing the quality of audio. And as you imagine, there's plenty of audio recordings that are encountered in investigations. They also are working with the state prosecutors to try to improve court presentations. So they're actively engaged. In fact, we're meeting with multiple prosecutors later this week. DNA testing services, so this will, for those of you with any biology background, the image in the upper right is a cell through a microscope, and the cell in the bottom right is a sperm cell. And so just to give you an idea, the DNA testing section has the responsibility of testing all the sexual assault kits that are collected across the region for any crime that occurs in Kansas City, Missouri. And that's somewhere around 300 to 500 kits per year. So not only are they doing those types of testing, but also for any violent crime or even property crime. We have tested over 500 property crimes this calendar year alone as well. So there is not a specific type of crime that we do testing on. We try to cover from violent crime to property crime and everything in between. CODIS, you might be familiar with it. It's just a DNA database. And so if the sperm cell, or as you can see, this very small blood stain on a pair of jeans, were to be an unknown DNA profile, that profile could get entered in CODIS and provide an investigative lead for Deputy Chief Niemeyer and his staff in the Investigations Bureau to follow up on. It might basically tell you whose blood that is. Our firearms section similarly has a database, but this is related to firearms-related evidence. And they provide, obviously, a far more amount of database entries than any other section, and they provide an enormous amount of investigative leads also for the Investigations Bureau. And they also do firearm and ammunition comparisons and serial number restorations. This image on the bottom right is just an example taken through a microscope of actually a comparison of a cartridge case from a test-fired gun to a cartridge case from a crime scene. Latent print services, most people know what fingerprints are. Not only are they responsible for processing items for fingerprints, so let's say a gun to see whether or not there's fingerprints on it. They're also comparing those fingerprints to known people. They're also identifying dead bodies and arrestees. So a person is deceased, and the question is who is this person? They're tasked with that responsibility. And they also have access to AFIS, which is a fingerprint identification database, similar to like a DNA database. And this image here is just an example of a palm print that is on the slide of a firearm, and you can see that's been circled there. That's just from an actual case. Trace evidence, the last section I'll go over, is the analysis and comparison of microscopic materials, things hairs, fibers, paint, glass. And these small fragments of glass, as you can see, are on the surface of a penny, gives you an idea of the size of the particles that we're dealing with, and each of those particles are suitable for comparison. And lastly, the image on the bottom right are particles of gunshot residue. As you are fully aware that there is a violent crime issue pertaining to firearms in the city and has been for a period of time. And so this type of testing helps address that need. Briefly, there are a few other services that I want you to be aware of. Obviously, many of my staff testify in cases. We provide training to local law enforcement. We've provided over 50 tours over the last year to about 1,000 people. We also fingerprint the public. So if a public member wants to apply for certain jobs like teaching or nursing, many of those are required to be fingerprinted, and we provide that service in our lobby. Many of my staff audit other crime labs. We handle requests for documents such as sunshine requests and so on. And then we also, many of the staff are on national boards to try to make forensic science better. This is the last slide, just to kind of give you a snapshot of what a week looks like as far as our productivity. There's about 20 members of the public we fingerprint. There's about 1,200 items that the police department collects. We process about 23 scenes. We test about 725 items. We generate about 145 reports. And we also generate about 50 investigative leads per week. Just to kind of give you basically what bang for the buck you're getting for the investigative services and support we can provide. So with that, I know that was a lot of information. I try to consolidate it in a short amount of time, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I guess I'll start by the most unprofessional statement. Wow. Thank you so much for your leadership, your expertise, leading a nationally known, recognized crime lab. The work your team does is phenomenal. It's fascinating how the human touch and also science come together to form that equation, right, of solving crime. Question about your peer labs. St. Louis have a phenomenal crime lab. Is Omaha? I mean, what are the peer labs kind of in the region that you work with?
Yeah, well, thank you for the compliments, Commissioner Horowitz. That's very nice. So there are multiple peer labs. So in St. Louis, there are two. There's a state lab and a city lab and a county lab in St. Louis. The Missouri State Highway Patrol has a lab system across the state. And then St. Charles County on the east side has a laboratory. And then Jefferson County, also on the east side near St. Louis, is just starting up a crime lab. So that covers the crime labs across the state of Missouri. There are many crime labs throughout the region, right? I think there's over about 400, maybe 500 accredited crime labs in the United States. So.
All right, thank you for that. Quick follow-up, if you don't mind. And how do you keep raising the bar? I mean, how do you maintain your team, your staff's excellence as technology advances? Just briefly on that.
It's a great question. I think that's basically my primary job. A lot of different ways, right? So trying to reach, get the resources we need, apply for grants, make good contacts, understand what technology is going to be best fit for us, what's not. Just try to do better. And that, at the point where I feel like I have no way of doing better, that will probably be the time that I'll retire. And so that's kind of where I come from.
Thank you very much.
Very well.
Dr. Weiner, thank you again for being here. It's good to see you again, and very thorough presentation. And your efforts and your team's efforts are greatly appreciated.
Thank you, President Whitaker.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now let's focus on workforce development. As of August 31st, the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department employs 1,130 law enforcement officers. As mentioned before by our chief, we have 71 police officer candidates in the academy for a combined total of 1,201 members. By the way, Chief, we welcome the challenge, and I think that keeps our recruiters and our recruitment unit, Captain Pinkerton, motivated to continue doing good. So thank you for all the support. We're also processing 19 lateral officers and employ 535 professional staff members. In addition, we have 17 police officer candidates pending job offers for the 187th Academy class set to begin January 26, 2026. In our communications unit, we have 19 applicants in the hiring process. 5 candidates that will start call taker class September 29th, and 3 are pending job offers. The fall 2025 college interns began on September 3rd and will serve through November 19th, 2025. They're gaining experience as part of their criminal justice program. Several are actively pursuing roles in law enforcement as well as professional staff positions. 2 additional interns are hosted full-time at the Police Athletic League. We have multiple upcoming academy testing dates listed on your screen. This past Saturday, September 20th, we had 42 candidates complete the physical agility test. They'll be moving forward to the hiring process. I want to thank our recruitment unit and human resources department for the high turnout for our law enforcement testing dates. Lastly, our newest Citizens Academy began on September 2nd, welcoming 18 participants. This program deepens community understanding of our department's operation while fostering trust and stronger relationships between our members and the public. In conclusion, the Administration Bureau remains focused on 3 strategic priorities: strengthening our workforce, enhancing community engagement, and promoting the well-being of our members. From welcoming new officers and expanding training programs to maintaining excellence in forensic science, every step we take supports these goals. Thank you again for your continued support. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Chief McCollum?
Good morning, Commissioners and Mr. Mayor. All items for the Executive Services Bureau are located under tab E of your board book. Item A, budget transfers for fiscal year 2025-26. I request the following appropriations be transferred within the general fund and the police grants fund. The general fund transfer reallocates $100,000 from personal services to contractual services to cover the costs of communications unit contractors. The police grants fund transfer reallocates $19,571 from contractual services and $60,963 from capital outlay in the amounts of $23,500 to personal services and $57,034 to commodities. The police grants fund transfer adjusts appropriations to where they are needed now compared to when they were estimated in the fall of 2024 as the budget was being put together. Unless you have any questions, I recommend your approval.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed?
Item B, adjustment to special revenue accounts for fiscal year 2025-26. I request $725,000 be appropriated from the unappropriated fund balance of the liability self-retention fund for personnel matters. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Uniform RFP 2024-14, police uniform contract modification. On February 25th, 2025, the board approved the award for the new uniform conversion to Basingers Police Supply and Galls LLC. At that time, a new uniform coat had not yet been decided. Therefore, it was not included in the original bid. After receiving proposals from both Basingers Police Supply and Galls LLC, we believe Basingers Police Supply provided the best bid for this project. Unless you have any questions, I request your approval to modify the agreement and award Basingers Police Supply the contract to provide the department with outerwear at an anticipated expense of $552,892.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries.
Item D, bid number 2025-5, 2026 model year Ford Police Pursuit rated vehicles. On June 26, 2025, the city passed ordinance 250472 appropriating funds to the Board of Police Commissioners to assist with replacing our aging and outdated fleet. On September 4th, 2025, bid 2025-5 was opened for the purchase of up to 160 new 2026 Ford Pursuit-rated police vehicles. I recommend awarding Gary Crosley Ford the bid for an expenditure not to exceed $6,910,240. Unless you have any questions, I do request your approval.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed?
Item E, the bid number on your agenda is incorrect, my apologies, and should be bid number 2025-8, new 2024 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit rated vehicles. The department recently became aware of 6 new 2024 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit rated vehicles available for immediate purchase at a significantly reduced cost. All 6 vehicles are from Allen Samuels Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Hutchinson, Kansas, and are the same color currently used by KCPD. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval to purchase 6 new 2024 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit rated vehicles from Allen Samuels Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram for a total expenditure of $229,000.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that motion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes.
Item F, bid number 2025-6, 2026 Ford Transit T350 patrol vans. On September 4th, 2025, bid number 2025-6 was opened for the purchase of 6 new 2026 Ford Transit T350 patrol vans utilized to safely transport prisoners. I recommend awarding Chuck Anderson Ford the bid and request a purchase of 6 new 2026 Ford Transit T350 patrol vans for an anticipated expenditure of $308,109.94. Unless you have any questions, I do request your approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed?
Item G, bid number 2025-7, 2024 to 2026 model year Ford Escapes. On August 28, 2025, bid number 2025-7 was opened for the immediate purchase of 10 new 2024 to 2026 Ford Escapes. I recommend awarding Chuck Anderson Ford the bid and request a purchase of 10 new 2024-2026 Ford Escapes for an expenditure of $278,539. Unless you have any questions, I do request your approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed?
Item H, VMware Annual Maintenance Renewal. The department has approximately 300 servers running in the virtual server environment. VMware is an operating system software for running the virtual server environment and is critical to the department's network operations. Unless you have any questions, I request your approval for a one-year renewal with Converge One for VMware support and maintenance. The renewal period is September 27th, 2025 through September 26th, 2026 for $213,269.76.
I move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item I, ShotSpotter Service Agreement Renewal. SoundThinking Incorporated is the service provider for the ShotSpotter technology system. The annual renewal for this subscription is $219,792 and will run from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. This technology has been used by the department since 2012. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval for this renewal.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? If
Mr.
not-
Chair, I
Yes,
just
go
have
ahead.
a few. This came to us as a KCATA grant back in the 2010s. I believe since roughly 2017, we've assumed it in the police department budget. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what it allows us to do generally, right, we can see shooting activity in a kind of a small area of the city. I forget if it's, what, 3.5 square miles?
Correct.
Cool. And then just talk to me about how we're using it as an additive for our patrol officers. Does the shooting notification lead to a deployment? Are there other steps with it? And just love some detail.
I will give a high level, and I may defer to Deputy Chief Maben or Niemeyer. So when a shot is activated, and a lot of officers have the app on their phone, so they get it real time. But the call comes into our communications center, and that information is relayed to the officers, and it pinpoints oftentimes an address and where at that address. So it could be in the backyard. It could be in a wooded area. So that's how the officers will respond to that, and oftentimes able to provide first aid in a quick manner.
I think that's all I have. Would love for the ATA to fund it again, though, but.
We would too.
Any other discussion? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
Item J, 2025-26 Traffic Services Grant. The Missouri Department of Transportation Highway Safety and Traffic Division recently awarded the department 7 grant contracts. These contracts provide salary, benefits, overtime training, and equipment necessary to enforce traffic laws and assist in reducing fatality accidents. These 7 contracts combine $748,810.99 in federal funding and a local match of $97,027. This award period is from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. This is the 43rd year the department has received grant funding from MoDOT. If there are no additional questions, I recommend acceptance of the Traffic Services Grant.
I move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed?
Unless you have any questions, this completes my portion.
Any other questions? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Mills, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Behind tab F are 2 policies for your consideration. Both were updated as part of the normal 5-year review process. The policy related to secondary employment was removed from today's agenda and should be presented next month for your consideration. If there's not any questions regarding those policies, I recommend your approval.
Well, if there are any questions, now would be appropriate.
I was most interested in secondary employment, but, and we've had some discussion on this board on that issue, so we'll just look forward to that next month.
I move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept revisions to both of these policies.
I'm sorry, may I ask a
No, we
question?
haven't had discussion.
There are, however, just to make sure, personal appearance standards, do they appear in anything that you're working on in this? And I know that's always been a subject for discussion for us, too.
Yes, sir. That policy is under review at the moment and should be presented next month as well.
Understood. All right, good. So I'll save it all.
Any other discussion?
So, question, so the 5-year review approach, so I take it there's this rolling 5-year schedule of review of policies every 5-year period. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, ma'am. If there are deficiencies or updates to policies that are required prior to that 5-year time elapsing, then we'll update those as necessary as well.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or question? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed?
Thank you, and that's all.
Thank you. Office of General Counsel, Mr. Weiner.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have one action item for you, and it's under tab G in your board book. Jesse L. Johnson V has appealed the denial of his application for an armed private security license. The basis for this denial is Johnson's termination from the Kansas City Police Department's Reserve Program. Johnson also did not disclose this termination as part of his licensure application. These actions are in violation of the Code of State Regulations, 17 CSR 10.2-050 3L and O. If you have any questions, either myself or Manager Tammy Gallagher are happy to try to answer them. Otherwise, the Private Officer Licensing Unit recommends denying this appeal.
And the reason for the denial was both the misinformation on the application and the termination as a reserve officer?
That's correct. There are provisions in the CSR that address both of those issues, and Mr. Johnson violated both of those provisions.
Motion to?
I move to accept the recommendation of continued denial.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If none, those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. The remainder of my report will be in closed session.
Dr. Bennikin, anything for us today? Thank you. Mr. Kenner.
Public comments. First one is Fred Gambino, and we request you to limit your comments to 2 minutes, please. Right there, at the podium. Please speak into the microphone.
Thank you. My name is Fred Gambino. I live in Brookside. I've been working with police and law enforcement my entire legal career. Last year, I respectfully asked the commissioners to immediately add 300 more sworn police officers to the Kansas City force. Missouri law gives you control over the size of our police force. Last December, reports indicated that the police force was understaffed by 270 officers, and there's been no progress to increase it since then. The governor appointed all the commissioners with the exception of the mayor, who was voted in by the people. It is your moral and legal duty to find the resources to increase the police force by 25% now. Not 1 year from now, not 2 years from now, but right now. Ask the governor and all the elected officials in Jefferson City to find the necessary funding. Make Kansas City officers the best paid police force in the Midwest. Provide pay that is commensurate with the hazardous duties that they perform. Your inaction is forcing our police chief to budget for 150 less officers than she knows are needed to do the bare minimum job. Please refer to page 5 of her most current budget. This means that all Kansas City police officers need to be better paid. They deserve it. Our citizens deserve better protection. Until then, you, the police commission, must ask the governor to declare a man-made police emergency before the president steps in, and provide 300 officers from the Missouri Highway Patrol and the 35th Military Police Brigade of our National Guard. Until this is done, and our jails are open 24 hours a day, our city is in grave peril and our national reputation is tarnished. The national violent crime statistics speak for themselves. I address you as a concerned citizen of this good city and once more implore you to act. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your courtesy. Good day.
Next is Doug Winter.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for your leadership. You lead a group of exemplary individuals, all of the chief deputies and deputy Mayor Lucas as well. I'm here to define the reality between a percent decrease in crime and the reality on what we're experiencing live. 33%, one of the numbers thrown out, seems like a big, deterrent or big improvement. Speaking just from Parler's perspective, Parler revenues are projected to be down over $1.5 million the last 2 years. In 2024, we were down $884,000. Currently in 2025, we are down $394,000. This is due to crime, the unsafeness of the community, homelessness, things that are going on in our community. The new state prosecutor mentioned a program she's talked about addressing the homeless. I hope Mayor Lucas addresses her and that she starts that in the Crossroads rather than Springfield. The prosecutor, Madam Prosecutor's made a big increase in bringing cases to prosecution. I think 81%, almost double from the previous year, which is great. Crime continues in KC. KC is ranked one of the worst cities in the nation. Break-ins, shootings, officers being assaulted and killed, citizens are being assaulted, shot at and killed, businesses are being broken into, buildings and cars are being vandalized, ATVs are taking over Grand Avenue. Our guests have experienced break-ins and vandalism. They're not coming back. They're getting their cars painted with gang signs, so they're not coming back. We need your help. We need somebody to declare this a state of emergency. There is help out there. St. Louis, Kash Patel has designated 30 FBI agents to St. Louis in an exploratory program. I ask that we do the same thing in Kansas City. The help is out there. The last gentleman mentioned the National Guard. Not sure that's where you want to go, but there's U.S. Marshals, there's state police, there's departments that can help. Deputy Ortiz mentioned that we're funded for 84 more officers. That's not enough. We need more. We need more. Thanks. That's all I have.
Next is Mr. Hunt.
Well, good afternoon to the mayor, Tom, board, chief. I finally got married, which is a good thing for me. It really was. I was down in Orlando last week, and I had a chance to talk to some of the police officers and kind of see. I like Orlando. I feel safe there, And so I was talking to them about how do they interact with the police department, with the citizens. They really don't have a strong community engagement department. They really don't. and I think it was a shooting somewhere in Osceola County. They and the people were rallying together and stuff. But I say that we have, I think, one of the best police departments in the country. I really do. I mean, you got a long ways to grow, but I think what we're doing here is really great, especially dealing with our kids in the POW community engagement. Now, here's another twist, is that I'm skeptical when people throw out numbers, like the gentleman said that walked out, crime's down 33%. I don't know where some of y'all live at, but where I live at, that's not true. When I look at the data, when you showed 114 homicides, and we had the same last year, to me, that's not improvement. That's not improvement. And if we need more police officers, we should get them. Our police should have competitive wages that everybody else is getting across the country. We really need more police. Even though our crime is not the police department's fault, I think us as a community plays a big part. Our elected officials, we play a big part. And the police department is a arresting agency. And I'm telling you, I'm really, really behind you guys because I see the work. Now, what I don't see, and this is not a beat down, Nehemiah, I don't see some of the commanding officers on the street as I like to see. When I talk to some of the officers and I ask them, I says, hey, do you see some of your superiors out here? They don't see them. They don't see you guys. So, and that don't mean that you're not out there. That doesn't really mean that you're not out there. But I like to see you guys see what your guys on the streets are doing. You got to see what your officers, they're doing some good work. They're fighting hard. But I like to see some of you guys in the streets. Other than that, I have no complaints. I look forward. Kramer, Don Kramer, to me was the best. I love her. Heather, you got some big shoes to fill with her. I mean, Kramer is just, we love her in the community. And so I talked long enough. Thank you, Tom. I look forward to meeting with some of you guys. But our police department here, I'm very proud of this department. Not so much proud of the city, because it's a dangerous city, but I'm proud of our department. Thank you.
That's it?
I believe there's one more.
Oh.
Palmer?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today to hear our concerns. My name is Weston Palmer. I've been in contact with you all for a while now. I live on 24th and Lister, and I'm here with regards to the bar establishment out there that you guys been kind of doing some work with lately. I just kind of want to give you guys an update on how things have been going. There has been improvement. My neighbors and I are grateful that there has been some work done on the issue. I want to give special thanks to John Chambers, who heard our voice, Dylan Wheeler, Major Hernandez, Cassandra Coffey with Land Bank, and especially Captain Ansando. He's been working directly with the residents out there and has been giving us hope that that the crime issue out there is going to be resolved and is currently being resolved. For those of you that are not aware on what's been happening out there, the vacant lots have been just kind of taken over by patrons of the bar establishment. And I mean, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people and vehicles that just take over these areas and completely terrorize the residents that live there. I want to say your efforts have been good. We've seen big improvements. I want to say it's like a 75% improvement out there, and I'm grateful for that. And I want to encourage to continue the good work. Thank you.
I believe that's all correct.
Yes.
We look for approval of the open session minutes of our last meeting, August 19th.
I move approval.
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Mr. Kenner, back to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to welcome our new Deputy Chief, Mr. Mills. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you.
Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Deputy Chief Mills. Welcome back, Commissioner Hall. And thank you all for your work this month. Deputy Chief Mabin mentioned work that they've been doing, and the gentleman who just spoke as well talked about work with private business owners who control both lots and other areas that we can work to keep our community safer. That collaboration is key. While we recognize and why we and the department recognize and try to make sure we address every criminal incident, the Kansas City Police Department is not private security for inside of clubs, inside of other establishments. And so therefore it is important that folks put up trespassing signs, that folks work with our department, that they invest in private security as well. And that is an area that I will continue to believe is important. While I greatly welcome enhanced deployment in the downtown corridor, I will say this, for many of our shooting activities, including certain mass shooting activities, our officers are there very quickly. While people remember an incident in late August, I believe, a shooting in the same lot prior, had officers on the scene within moments, and indeed officers who conducted arrests of individuals involved in the incident itself. While there are many things that lead to criminal incidents in our city, I do not think in a number of those situations it is a lack of a caring or quick or efficient or effective response by KCPD. That's why from the city side, we will continue to do all we can to make sure that both from our own agencies as well as collaboration with private enterprise and frankly those who know about problems that come again and again and again, that they are being compelled to make sure that they're doing certain work as well. In the same way that if your neighborhood had your neighbor had a wild boar next door, right, and they're not allowed to do so, you would call, there would be some action taken long term. So that's at least an area that I've been thinking about a lot. I think it is something that's fairly important. That was a random analogy. I know someone will read into it, but nonetheless, I just want to say simply thank you all for the work that you continue to do, and thank you for our officers who are often there in our entertainment districts and areas throughout the city to respond quickly and effectively. And that collaboration is a key part of law enforcement. I also want to center one other thing. I think the hiring news is exceptional, frankly. It is not just an easy, natural thing. It takes very hard work from those who do recruiting for this department, because not all agencies are seeing the same bounce back in the same way that we are. So I commend you all tremendously for that. I encourage you to keep up the work. You've been challenged by a gentleman a moment ago to get 300 more officers now, Deputy Chief. Do all that you can in connection with that. In recent years, I have appreciated this chief's collaboration when we work through the budget to make sure that we do have the resources to hire and pay these officers. We'll also note that we're buying a lot of new vehicles too. I share your interest in not seeing any Crown Victorias on the road other than a relic at the museum. And I believe it actually varies. I meet the occasional officer who still likes to drive them, but I think we will make sure that we have a full replacement of that fleet sometime soon and that our officers have the equipment that they need.
Commissioner Hull.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm glad to be back, although I don't know that too many people knew I was even gone. So, but here we are back again. And Deputy Chief Mills, welcome. We're glad to have you on the team. And I'm just happy to be back and be a part of this. This is a wonderful organization, and we do great things. And I wish it was easy to just hire 300 new people like they ask for, because it doesn't just happen overnight in this type of an industry. And so just continue to do what you're doing. I think the more people out on the streets, the better. We want to keep our citizens safe and let them have productive, successful lives in our city, and you guys are doing that. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Boswell.
Well, Commissioner Hall, welcome back. Your short departure. Also, Deputy Chief Mills, congratulations on your new role. We know you'll be fantastic. I also wanted to add my thanks to Commissioner Kramer, because as a new commissioner, she warmly welcomed me and gave me a lot of advice. And I know she had to sneak out, but it'll be in the minutes so she can read that. Certainly, Deputy Chief Ortiz, I want to congratulate you on that 1,201 number, and we'll look forward to it continuing to go up. And I also want to thank the chief and the mayor for their early morning and getting the word out about how we are making the police department more visible and keeping our citizens safe. So thank you.
Thank you. Great meeting. I always learn a lot, and I'm always I leave these meetings feeling very proud of what your leadership and what the everyone's doing. Just great meeting, and thank you for the journey. I want to mention Deputy Chief Niemeyer, because there's so much value in the way you bring forward different units under your charge, and the drug enforcement unit today to kind of give us that deeper dive. So I always appreciate that. Of course, the numbers are phenomenal. Deputy Chief Mills, I think Sunday is the big day, is that correct? Well, congratulations in advance, and we so look forward to working with you.
Thank you all again for the work that goes into preparing for this meeting and making it efficient and effective. It's not lost on any of us, the amount of work that goes into getting ready for today. I'm going to also add my congratulations to Sergeant Rizzo and to soon-to-be Deputy Chief Mills. Congratulations, and we look forward to working with you as we have worked together in the past. I'm going to take a moment and have a bit of a personal service announcement here. As we close out the month of September, we recognize that this is Suicide Awareness Month. Last week, I said goodbye and attended a funeral of a longtime colleague I've worked with for over 20 years in this city. He took his life the week before. And we saw no sign of that coming. But what I want to say is thank you, and to commend this department for the social media and the awareness that we provided throughout the month, and to continue to support our wellness unit. It is important that each of you take care of yourselves and then help the others that are around you. So that's my word of thanks, and as we close out the month, and just have awareness of the stress and mental health issues that many of us try and help out other people with. So thank you for that. Anything else? If not,
I move we go into closed session pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes.
Second the motion.
It's a roll call vote.
Lucas, aye.
Boswell, aye.
Whitaker, aye.
Romeus, aye.
Hall, aye.
Thank you. Go into close.